Welcome to the Jacksonville Bar Association podcast. My name is Craig Shoup. I'm the executive director here at the JaxBar. And today, we're excited to have Matthew Hinson with us. Matt is a graduate of Davidson College in North Carolina, go Wildcats, and received his JD from Florida Coastal School of Law in 2011. He has been practicing law across the state of Florida since 2011, based out of Northeast Florida here in Jacksonville. Having handled hundreds of cases in conjunction with other personal injury practitioners, Matt focuses his practice on the probate and guardianship needs of the personal injury, medical malpractice, and wrongful death legal practitioner. He has experience handling matters in multiple areas of law, including probate administration and litigation, guardianship administration and litigation, personal injury, wrongful death matters, and estate planning, wills and trusts, durable power of attorney, living wills, and designation of pre-need guardians for minors. Matt is a past chair of the Jacksonville Bar Association Solo and Small Firm Committee. He serves on the board of directors for the Jacksonville Justice Association. Outside the legal community, Matt has been active in local high school athletics and has previously served as an assistant track coach at the Bowles School. Before we get into our conversation today, I do want to say a special thank you to all of our Jacksonville Bar Association partners. At this point, we do have a quick message from one of our partners.
Thanks to the Jacksonville Bar Association for helping Mulholland Investigation and Computer Forensics bring forth our services to the local legal community. We offer a wide array of investigative service and computer forensic service. We do background investigations, we locate witnesses, we do surveillance. We have experts on our team that do security negligence consulting and have the ability to take evidence from computers, cell phones, tablets, servers, and a wide variety of other services. Our JBA sponsor membership allows us to regularly see our most important clients. Please contact us at 904-354-7989 or at mulhollandinvestigation.com.
Well, Matt, thanks for coming in today. We're glad you were able to stop by.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little about you and growing up and what made you want to become a lawyer.
Yeah, I'm one of those probably stories of I've always been interested in the law. So as a little kid, I knew one day I'd love to be a lawyer. I didn't know if it was ever going to be a reality because I'm a first-generation college student from my family and growing up in North Carolina. And I was fortunate enough to, as you mentioned, go to Davidson College and graduate. After college, I took a few roads to eventually lead to law school, but ultimately I did here at Florida Coastal in Jacksonville, and I've been practicing here ever since.
So tell us what kind of led you into this practice of estate and guardianship and working with these personal injury lawyers that are having these issues with their cases. Tell us what kind of led you into that path.
Well, I wanted to choose, based on my prior work experience, I wanted to choose an area of law that, one, wasn't going to be so contingent on markets, ups and downs. And then secondly, I wanted to do something that really mattered, something that was going to help people. And I thought that probate law in that area was something that you're helping people get through really tough times. They're grieving and they're dealing with the loss of a loved one when they don't need to be focused on the logistics of what do we do with their assets? How do we handle that? And so I really wanted to pick an area that was going to impact people for the positive so they can focus on their own issues and their own grieving while we just take care of the rest.
So you've been practicing here in North Florida and throughout the state since 2011. Mm-hmm. You've seen a lot of changes in the way people practice.
Absolutely.
We've seen in the last few years now Zoom really taking off in our court system and a lot of stuff being handled via Zoom. What's some stuff that you have found specifically practicing here in the Fourth Circuit that maybe a new young lawyer or even a seasoned practitioner who's new to the Fourth Circuit should know about practicing here?
And you're right, I practice all over the state. I have cases in nearly all the counties in Florida, not probably all of them, but a lot. And so I've seen a lot of different personality types and ways to practice law. The best way I would sum up the Fourth Circuit is civility. There's a level of collegiality that we have here and professionalism of how we discuss things amongst opposing parties and opposing attorneys that is different in other counties. So I would say if you're going to come here, if this is your first time in the Fourth Circuit, be prepared to have a friendly face on the other side and be prepared to return that and continue to be professional. Yes, we have clients we represent, but we also have a profession that we represent, and we want that image in the public to reflect well on our justice system.
I know I talk to lawyers like you do all around the state, and that is something I really is, and we've reinforced this on so many episodes here, that this professionalism and civility here in the Fourth Circuit is just so sadly rare around the state.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it rare. I would just call it uniquely consistent in the Fourth Circuit. I do find that level of civility in other areas, in other locations, but the consistency of that being in the Fourth Circuit and almost expected, not only from your colleagues, but also from the judges and the court staff and the clerks. It's expected, and it should be. I mean, we took an oath to do that, and so it should be expected.
What's a great memory or story from a case or something you've been involved in our legal community that really still resonates with you today?
I mean, without getting into specifics about specific cases, because we do have that obligation of confidentiality to our clients, I can tell you probably the more memorable cases I have are unfortunately involving the death of children. Because I do work with a lot of personal injury practitioners, and most of the time in those situations, people are tragically losing loved ones unexpectedly. Children are the toughest, and no matter what the age is, working with the parents to help them grieve has been such a what I have felt rewarding aspect to where I can make sure that they know that they need to focus on themselves. That's probably one of the most important things, is making sure that they focus on themselves and let us handle the legal things. Let us handle the legal aspects of cases. That's probably the most memorable that will always stick out to me. And every time I get a new case involving a child, it will always stick out. You don't go numb to those things. And working hand in hand with the personal injury attorneys who are equally compassionate and empathetic to these folks, I'm really fortunate to have the relationships I do with these personal injury attorneys, because they're good at what they do. And they haven't forgotten what it's like to be a person.
So I know you're a past chair of our solo and small firm committee. Why do you think it's important to be a member of the Jacksonville Bar Association?
Honestly, it's an easy answer. The JaxBar I've been a part of that since I became a member of the Florida Bar. And I would say that the JaxBar has given me three things. The first thing would be relationships with other attorneys, whether it be other attorneys my age or my level of practice, or other attorneys that have been practicing for 20 and 30 years. Those relationships have caused me to be able to develop as an attorney and develop my business. And the Jacksonville Bar Association, there's so many ways to be involved, whether it's through athletics, whether it's through committees, whether it's through attending events. There's so many ways to get involved. And ultimately, you can develop those relationships, develop your business. And then the third thing is just a little bit of a social break. We get so tied up in our business day to day that the Bar Association gives us that chance to mentally take a break and have some fun. And so those are the three things I would say the Bar has done for me. And I would encourage anybody who's thinking about it, or maybe if you're not thinking about it, to join, because there's going to be something for you. There's absolutely going to be something for you.
I appreciate the plug. We're always looking for new members, and always also looking for ways for existing members to connect with us. And anyone who's interested in how to be more involved in our committees, or becoming into our leadership, or just wanting to talk more about the bar in general, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to spend any amount of time with anybody who's interested and find a way to plug you in. I always say frequently, there's always a place for you here in the Jacksonville Bar.
I mean, and one thing I left out that I found is, we talk about things you can do at the JaxBar. There's currently right now a fantasy football league that's being created. So if you like fantasy football, there's a free fantasy football league that's being created. It'll be a lot of fun. And that's an example of something that has nothing to do with the law. We're just having a good time.
Absolutely. There's a lot of those opportunities. Like I said, our holiday parties, different things, different, especially our young lawyers have a lot of great events.
Yeah.
But also too, of course, the great continuing legal education and all of those different law-specific programs as well.
Right.
I mean, we've seen across the country with different voluntary bars, and there's over 200 different voluntary bars throughout the state of Florida. But your local county, city, voluntary bar, it's that interaction with the judiciary too that is so easily accessible that way. I mean, I know you've been involved some in our estate, probate, tax, elder law type committees, and I know yearly the judges from our probate committee come and speak and have a open dialogue to the practitioners, what can we do as the judiciary better to make your job easier? I don't think that's always happening in other places too.
And that, I think that goes back to one of your earlier questions about what makes the Fourth Circuit unique. And that interaction between the judiciary and the bar is what creates that civility and reinstills that civility as we go forward. And as long as it continues to move forward, I think we're going to continue in that awesome path that we're on.
Yeah, I think we're in a unique place right now, and I think in the legal profession's history with this transition to more and more online. Like, how much of your practice is online these days?
Very large majority. A lot of what we do in probate is administrative and procedural, and so a lot of the courts after the COVID pandemic that we went through and they're still going through went to Zoom. And so we are now, I will have a hearing in Duval County, and then I can have another hearing 10 minutes later in Nassau County, and another hearing 30 minutes later in St. John's without driving to them. And so it's impacted it from an efficiency standpoint, which does nothing but help our society and our community because we're able to be more efficient and get more things done. It does take away from the personal connections and touch, which is why the Jacksonville Bar Association's events are so important because we don't get to see each other day to day in the courthouse anymore. Unless you have a contested matter, you're likely not going to be in person.
Speaking of the in-person stuff, one of the favorite things of my questions from this series, and I think a lot of folks have enjoyed, is learning things about people's personally, not necessarily just their practice. And as we know, I'm a little bit of a foodie.
Yeah.
I enjoy a good meal. What are some of your favorite places to have like a dinner with your family or something in town?
Without a doubt, Metro Diner. I mean, it started here. It's a local Jacksonville product. It has now grown. It's a very, very large company now. They have lots of locations. I am fortunate that my wife works for them, so I'll put that out there. But even before we had met, that was a staple in my diet, and it's a staple for our family because it's just amazing food, and it's local. It's local.
It's a great family business. The DeVoleys are a great community partner.
Yeah.
Fabulous people.
They are. And their chicken and waffles, fantastic.
I may have frequented the Hendricks Avenue location a time or two in my life.
The original. That's the original. That's the OG.
Absolutely. So, Matt, if somebody wanted to reach out to you about, again, maybe diving a little deeper into the importance of being part of the JaxBar, or kind of what you've gotten from your membership, or even referring you a case in your practice area, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Best way to reach out to me is just give me a call. Just give me a call at my office. You can visit my website if you want more information about what we do. Specifically, if you're a personal injury practitioner, we have an entire section of our website that is designed and developed for you to see what we do, but also give you a little bit of some tips and some hints that will help set some expectations with clients.
That's great. Well, we appreciate you coming in, Matt.
Sure.
Thanks to everybody who joined us today. We look forward to seeing you on our next episode.